Hey everybody, it is finally time for me to give you guys an update on the Juice Bikes City Scrambler in comparison to the Hyper Scrambler. And I've got some thoughts on both I feel like I should share. So I want to start off first of all by talking about some of the stuff with the city. We got this on Indiegogo for $9.99 shipped, so $1,000 shipped, and we got 597 miles, got about 600 miles on it, okay? I just want to say that this is an extremely high-value e-bike. I've gone as fast as 27. Like I said, I'm a bigger guy, about 6'2". This thing is a great riding size for me. My brother-in-law, Jared, rides it all the time. He's a big guy, too. And it's one of these things that it's so fun. You get so many looks at it, looks when you're on it. It gives you a real good sense of freedom. You look cool doing it. It's just a blast, man. And it's very reliable. I've had no issues with this bike at all. I've even had to repair the tire one time, got a hole in it, had to fix it. But all in all, love this bike. Now, there's some differences between the Hyper and the City. First being, the first thing I noticed is the seat firmness. Whatever firmness they're using in this feels nice, supple. It's a nice cushy feeling compared to the Hyper. It's kind of firm and hard, and I don't know if that's just because I haven't ridden this one as much and broken in like I have with the City, but it just feels a little less, I don't know, comfortable, I guess. The seat's firmer, okay? Secondly, I don't know what it is about this, but the top of the Hyper, it is about an inch and a half taller than the actual City from the back. I don't know what's going on there, but it's about an inch or two higher. And for me, that's a good thing. I'm a larger guy. It works well for me. Another thing you'll notice is the taillight differences. The taillight on this, I enjoy. You click it on. Matter of fact, let me power it on real quick. Cut it on. And it's got a bunch of different modes. I prefer this a lot more over the Star Union one, or the Trans Union or Star Union. I can't remember the name. On the City, that one goes out. It went out after maybe like 10 or so times on. So I prefer the battery on this one. Another thing, this Hyper, and I believe it's all due to the rims, is much, much lighter. I bring this thing inside every day, and these spoke wheels are so much lighter than on the City wheels. These Bafang Mag wheels, man, they're heavy, dude. They are heavy, which is fine. You see, we dropped this thing even. Love this bike, man. But they're just so much lighter. So if you're thinking about bringing this thing inside every day, this is kind of one of these things you need to think about when purchasing between the two. Another difference on the City, because it has the half twist throttle, I don't want to twist it, you have this shorter handlebar length. All right. The shifters, again, taking up the length. When you compare that to the Hyper, I mean, it's about that much more. It's a good inch or so more of real estate. The Hyper, I feel, is much more comfortable as far as the gripping apparatus. You know, sometimes you can get on the City, especially if you've got the mirrors installed, and you can get to knocking that mirror out the way. And so I really, really like the grips on the Hyper as well. Brakes are great. See, I feel like these are the same exact suspension system. Somebody could prove me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure. On the City, you have the Star Union brakes. I've heard that people have Tektro brakes on here, Shimano brakes, whatever. I don't know, but I know that I just off first opinions, first glances, I definitely prefer the brakes on the Hyper. That may just be because they haven't broken in as much, or they have broken in, but they just have found that kind of sweet spot into braking. All right. And another huge difference, obviously, between the two is the speed. The speed on the Hyper is much faster. I hit 37 miles an hour on it, pedaling as hard as I could, or close to it, for a little bit of time. It is very difficult to get up to that speed. However, on throttle, you will get to throttle on that 30 on that, just as easy as you'll hit throttle on the 20 on the City. It's a big difference, man. It's a big difference in speed. Now, let's talk about some of the things that you need to think about, and some of my experience, and even some major issues I have with this Hyper. So much that I actually have to return this Hyper and get a replacement. Yes, I have to return this Hyper Scrambler because of a bevy of issues, and I'm about to go ahead and get into that. But I just wanted to say that this Hyper, it's not right. The bike's not right. Firstly, it came in, this is the brushed aluminum, it came in with rust spots. You cannot ship a new bike with rust spots, people. I don't know what to tell you, but your bike cannot be rusting when you get it. You know, you just can't have that. I mean, it's rusted in little spots. That's not a good look, man. I took this with some rubbing alcohol, tried to rub it off. Nope, it's sealed underneath the clear coat, or whatever coat they have on this Hyper. Sealed. Ridiculous. You can't be having that. Secondly, the bike came with some damage upon arrival. I don't know what FedEx was doing, but man, they really messed that up. I'm talking about, I got nicks and scratches and issues all over this thing, over this brand new bike. Like day one out the box has issues like that, just with scratches. So I mainly attribute that to FedEx shipping, but the rest is definitely Juice Bike's issue. And then this is the killer for me. Well, two killers that kind of go tandem, hand in hand. I want you to take a look real quick at this battery. .2 volts with one battery. At full battery capacity, it's only ever been 51.7 or 51.9 volts. Okay, let's take a look at this drained City that's been driven around. 49.9 volts. People, there's a major issue with this Hyper Scrambler in regards to the controller, and also in regards to the battery. The battery does not hold a very good charge. It's the 52 by 19 amp hour battery for the Hyper. It does not work on this one. I don't know what it is. All right. The 52 by, I believe, 13 amp on the City works perfectly fine. I don't know what the deal is. So I've been told by Juice that there's a controller issue in this one, which I was familiar with, but I was assured 2 weeks ago by Tora on the Juice Bike Scrambler forum on Facebook that there would not be any more ship like this. That's not true. Mine shipped, got here this past week, same exact issue as every other one. It's bad. You can't ship a bike whose battery is less than your 13 milliamp or your 13 amp one, and this bike is less than half the price. These Hyper Scramblers are going for $3,500 or somewhere around there right now. I bought it, I believe, for like $1,300 or $2,300 or something on Indiegogo, and I bought that one for $9.99. All right, people, you can't ship a bike like that. I don't know what to tell you. It shouldn't have these major issues. So it's a controller issue, it's a battery issue, it's the packaging was just, damage on this was ridiculous. As far as having a brand new bike, yeah, some of that's, but explain to me the rust spots. The bottom of the fork is banged up. I don't know if I like bending down, okay? You can't have these kind of issues on the Hyper, all right? You just can't. You can't pay that kind of money and expect that kind of thing. So in my mind, for all these people that are shopping between the Hyper and the City or Camp, in my opinion, I wouldn't go with the City. I wouldn't go with the Hyper. If you want black, I would try and get a black Camp Scrambler. It's going to be lighter, okay? You can change those tires out if you want road tires later, but the savings and weight is worth it, all right? The savings and weight is worth it, in my opinion, because the City is much heavier than the Hyper, strictly off rims. And you can't justify the price tag, in my mind, for $3,500 and have a product like this being shipped to people. Now, all that being said, I've been talking to Juice. Juice has done really well by me. I got 3 separate emails. I got one from Jessica, one from Justin, and one from Rasan Acox. He gave me a call. I returned the call. He's going to get me hooked up. They sent me a shipping label so I can return this one. Problem is, they're not getting any more brushed aluminum hypers until April. That's right, April. So what does that mean? I'll probably get my bike in May. So I bought this bike in July. One of the first people to buy brush, and I got mine, what I feel, fairly late compared to some people. However, some people still don't have theirs. And it came in this kind of condition. I was told this is the only one left. This may have been the very last hyper out of this batch. And I'm just bummed, man. I'm really bummed about it, especially since I've had such an awesome experience with this bike. I absolutely love this bike to death. It's brought so much joy to me, my family, my wife, my brother, everybody who sees it, who's like, yo, what is that? You'll never get, if you want compliments, this bike, you'll get them all day. All day. And to have this experience with this beautiful, I mean, the finish on this is, it didn't have those issues. I mean, look at that brush. Oh man, I love the way that looks. But it's got those issues, man, and it's really, it bums me out, guys. It bums me out that I didn't have that. And like I said, Juice has been very, very accommodating, very, very helpful with this. I'm sure we're going to get it straightened out and getting fixed. I just got a lemon, and I'm very disappointed with that, especially since I was assured by Tor that, hey, there'd be no more shipped out with this controller issue. I got a controller issue. I got a battery issue. I got a rust issue. I got a shipping issue. I mean, come on, guys. It's bad. It's bad. So that, with all that said, I think the Hyper is going to be a great bike. I actually prefer it better than this bike, to be honest. It's a better bike for me. It's lighter, it's faster. I prefer the looks because it's got a little bit of contrast, although that all black is mean and tough. And I've got the fenders and all the stuff for that. But I'm just hurt, man. I'm disappointed that it didn't come in the condition it was. And it does get up there. Like I said, I've hit 37 miles an hour on this one. I hit it. So whatever it's got going on is working. There's a stutter between, I want to say 17 and 20 miles an hour or so. They got to get that fixed, man. I'm having the same issue that everybody else is happening. It just kind of baffles me. You have a killer product in this one, and then this one just is not up to stuff. And I get it. These are the first batches. The first one's out. They're going to have issues. Some people like the earliest one. You can actually find it is the new Wrangler. I actually know his name because of the form, but I don't want to put his name out there. He got one of the first ones, and his still has issues. Like, he doesn't even have a plug under there. They got to work these kinks out, man. And I'm one of these people that I believe that if, hey, company screws up, if they're trying to do their best and do right, I respect that. I can appreciate it. I can continue to do business as long as you don't continue to make these kind of mistakes and you kind of learn and grow from them. And I knew that going in with the Indiegogo campaign. So that being said, enough about my opinions. I'll show you what my brother thinks about it. My brother-in-law, kind of show you guys what the bike looks like real quick. By the way, check out this box. I mean, check the condition this box came in. I mean, what were they doing, FedEx? Come on. Look at this notice. Handle with care. Nope. Didn't happen. I mean, heavens to Betsy. I still got my city box. It's nothing like that. Nothing like that. Look at this. I mean, this thing got... These ain't no small cuts. I mean, good Lord. Look at that. I mean, that's fairly significant damage all the way down. They were taking some hits. All right, Jared, how you feeling about this? Come give me your thoughts on this, on the city. All right.
Definitely heavier than the Hyper. I mean, I'm a big guy and I can still get it up to about, like, I've gotten up the city to 27. Now it's a downhill. But I enjoy riding them. I haven't tried the Hyper yet, but you know, I enjoy the freedom and the amount of travel you can go in a short period of time. Love it.
Love it. My thoughts as well. But yeah, that's your Juice bikes City Scrambler and Hyper Scrambler compared. Like I said, some of the major differences are the weight on the Hyper is much less than on the City. The handles are different. The height is actually different. The lights are different. The batteries are different. The motor, the Mac motor is different. And pretty much everything else is the same. And the fact that the City came in very, very reliable, no issues. And my Hyper is a lemon. It's a dud, people. So that's my overview of the Juice Bikes Hyper Scrambler, City Scrambler. If you have any issues, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. If you're interested in any mods, by the way, I have some crazy mods coming out that nobody's done. No, I've seen nobody do the mods. Shout out to some people that came up with that light mod. I've actually got a different light for this one. Well, I'll have to wait till April to put it in now, but I've got a mod that none of you have seen and it'd be kind of hard to do. I want to share that with you whenever I get this thing fixed, because I really want this thing to, really want to put a lot of customization and some thought, effort, and care into the Hyper and make it pretty and beautiful and fun to ride and functional all at the same time. So again, if you have any questions, thoughts, let me know, and I'll get back with you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.